Shut up and sit down.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Major Payne's Rockin' PrintCast. I am Major Payne. Hey, today we have a really cool episode for you. We have a guest. I actually have a guest. We have a special guest. His name is Mark Bohan. He is the National Director of Color Solutions for Konica Minolta. Mark, welcome. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on here.
Yeah, no problem. Did I get that right? National Director of Color Solutions.
Yeah, I look after all things color. That's really my role, is to support team and the customers with any of their color solutions.
Okay, perfect. Just a quick look into some of your other experience. So looks like you were director of Connect Workflow for Heidelberg in one of your past lives. Printing Industries of America, Vice President of Technology and Research, and Managing Director for Technical Association of the Graphic Arts. So very impressive. It's very impressive.
Thank you. It's been good, and it's been nice to look at all the different technologies and work with that and see how color has developed over the time. You know, when I was at PIA, actually ran their color conference for a number of years, and sort of have seen the development of where we've gone to where we are now. That it really is easy to hit that right color first time every time. Right,
perfect. So again, I appreciate you jumping on today. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at dive a little bit into last episode. I talked about Konica Minolta's AccurioPro Cloud Eye, and Mark watched that episode and he said I did a pretty good job. But he wanted to get on and kind of look at those reports. So we went over the reports from Cloud Eye. We wanted to actually look at a report that maybe wasn't so perfect. I showed a report that was passing, really good report. But Mark would like to kind of dive into a little bit on a report that's not passing, so we can have a little more material to talk about and dig into. So we're just going to go a little bit deeper into one of those Cloud Eye reports. So Mark, I believe you want to share your screen and talk a little bit.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. Let me share my screen. So what I've got here is a typical report from Cloud Eye. So Cloud Eye really will allow us to manage and monitor what we're doing with all the color management across our whole facility. So we can look at any device and we can really be adaptable to different standards as well. So however you're targeting, in this case we're looking at G7 color space for press. We're targeting Grackle 2013 CRPC6, and we're using, in this case, a scanning device, an FD9, recently been replaced by the Mayura. One of the interesting things to look about this is it will tell you everything that's going on, so you can use this as reporting. We're using M1 mode, which is the new measurement mode, which really, when we're looking at 2013, is a really good thing that we should be doing. This report will sit up in the cloud. Also, if you're managing the facility, the cool thing with this is you actually get email notifications whenever anything's done. So, whether you're on site or off site, I have a couple of customers I support. I don't get my report on Monday morning. Okay, they've not gone and done their measurements. I got a report from another customer this morning. So I can see what they're doing and support as we're going through.
Right.
So really, if we have a look at this, I say passes are great. Everything looks green. Everyone's, yes, we're happy. But at the end of the day, it's what do we do when we get a fail? And this is really an indication of what we've got here. So we've got a report here. You'll see that our paper white here, and this is using the G7 color space tolerances. Our paper's correct because we're doing substrate relative. So that's one of the things that when you're targeting is, are you looking relative or absolute? Lots of substrates that are typically out there will not actually pass the paper white as such. It's got a lot of optical brighteners in there, so would never pass unless you go to the substrate relative.
Yeah, key, very, very important. Correct. Yep.
But we've got. So what we're looking at here is the overview of all the pass-fail criteria. You can see that we failed here on our maximum RGB. So that means one of either our red, green, or blue is actually out of tolerance. The other thing we can see here is that we have our G7, our tonality, which is measured on our L scale, and our color. Our tonality is a little bit off. We're very close to the tolerance. So if we go down and have a look in the report, and this is one of the things I like, is I can see things visually. We can see, looking at this, when we look at the tonality, which is shown in these two MPDC curves, as tech jargon likes to say, we're a little bit light. The red curve's below the green curve. It tells me we're printing a little bit light. We're good, but it gives us a warning as what's going on with it.
And that's, Mark, that's neutral print density curves, right?
That is correct, neutral print density curve. But we can go through then in the report and we can look at all the patches. So when you troubleshoot, you can use it to see where you have challenges. And if we go down here, there we have one of our fails, which was on our green. We can look at our target and our actual values, so we can actually start to understand what's actually going on with that. We can see that we're a little bit light, and we've not really, in this case, got the A star. So A.
So Mark, is it that's row 67, I believe there, and is it only that last number that's highlighted red, or is it that entire row? What are we looking at?
So we're looking at the entire row here. So this is it's actually G7. The patch is G7.
Okay, so a little small, but that's okay.
Little small, you could, So it's basically our green patch. So we've got the indication of what it is here. In the report, the solids and then the overprints, red, green, blue, are on the top of sequential pages. So really a quick, easy way to look at this. So we can go through and we can look at the LAB values, the target, and the actual values that we've got. And then critically, what we've here got is the delta E2000, so the color difference between those two patches. And this is saying it's a fail, it's out of tolerance as we're going through with this. We have a fail there on our green, it's only a small fail. We have a little bit bigger fail on our blue. But 4.62, tolerance is 4.2. We're still just, we're only just outside what's going on.
Okay.
If we look at a second report here, what we'll look at here is we can see, again, we're running substrate relative. We're running in M1. We've got problems here with our CMYs. We're just out on our cyan, magenta, yellows. But I really wanted to pull this up because we've got a problem with our gray here. So we're seeing that we're failing on our G7 gray in this particular area. So if we go down to our graph, what you see here is this time our tonality, our MPDC curves, we're pretty close to being on top of each other. Those were the good values that we see. But we see here, we've got a problem with our B star, and our B star really doesn't pull in until we get towards our midtones. And that's really what's telling us as to what's going on with our color as we're going through this. And again, we can go through the rest of the report and actually look at the values. But really understanding this, being able to go in and look, gives us an indication of what's going on. So this tells us some of the areas that we're actually particularly failing as we're going through. So fails are always much more interesting to look at.
Yeah, it gives you something to discuss. Correct. Yeah.
We always like to get passes, and we can get passes very easily. But it's being able to use the report to actually really understand what's going on when we actually have those fails. So.
Okay. Perfect. So looking at this report, is what should be a primary focus? I know it's all important when it comes to G7 and passing G7 color space, but if you had to choose something that you want to focus on more than others, what would that be?
To be honest, I would focus, really whether we're getting a pass or a fail.
That makes sense.
Are we getting a pass or a fail? And then understanding how bad of a fail that you're actually getting. Sometimes, if we're only failing by a very small amount, is that really important? Do we need to go in and do some retroactive action? Right. Clearly I want to get the tonality and the grade correct. But what you'll do with these reports is you use them to say, yes, we've got a pass or a fail, and then, okay, what actions do we need to take if we have a fail come on? And we can put, production tolerances in here. We can look at adapting some of these values as well, so that, if we're only just failing, in many cases, we don't need to go in and do a corrective action.
Right.
So it's really understanding where those are, and we work with the customers to really identify what they need to be running at with those particular values.
Perfect. All right, Mark. Again, thank you for that overview. What I want to do here before we wrap up is I'm going to share my screen quickly, and I just want to show everybody. So if you're curious to look this up, if you go to idealliance.org, you can come to this training and certification. You can come down to directories and get that to load, and click on the G7 expert directory. And if you type in Konica, you search by company name Konica, you will find that once it does load, here in a second, a little bit of a delay here. Once it does load, you'll see that Konica Minolta currently has 67 certified G7 experts. So I just wanted to point that out. This is public. Anyone can come in here and look at this. And also, since I'm showing you this, hopefully it'll load a little bit quicker. But if we search Konica and we search Payne, you'll see yours truly, Mr. Kenneth L. Payne here. So certified G7 expert. So I just wanted to let you guys know that. I'm going to stop sharing. And I also want to mention that we do run public classes for G7. So we can certify you as a G7 expert for the public classes. And if you need any information on that or interested in that at all, just reach out to your local Konica Minolta rep. Mark, do you have anything to add to that?
No, we're running the next class in August, and looking forward in the future when we can go back to do some in-person classes. Typically, we'll try and run 2 or 3 classes every year.
Perfect. So, again, thank you, Mark. I appreciate your time, and thank you, everybody. Hope everybody has a rocking day. Take care.